Yellowstone National Park, a place of stunning beauty and endless mystery. But what if I told you that behind the breathtaking scenery lies a terrifying secret? One summer night, I came face to face with something so horrifying, it changed the way I see the wilderness forever. Cults, masks, and the unknown. Stay tuned as Nightmare Man reveals the nightmare I barely escaped. This is a story you'll never forget. Yellowstone National Park, a place of unparalleled beauty, drawing millions of visitors each year. But hidden within its vast wilderness lies a dark, untold secret. This is a story of one summer night in 2020, a night that haunts me to this day. Lockdowns had just been lifted, and my friends and I planned a camping trip at a familiar spot deep within the woods. I arrived early to secure our campsite, confident and alone. But as I pulled up, my heart sank. My tent, along with everything inside, was gone. I had secured everything earlier that day, staking it down and weighing it with rocks, but now it was as if the campsite had been erased. No campers, no tracks, just silence. When my friends arrived, they convinced me to stay. We laughed and shared stories around the fire, trying to shake off the unease. But as the night deepened, an unnatural silence settled over the forest. I slept in my truck that night, on edge, but hoping for rest. A few hours later, I awoke to the sound of movement outside. Whatever it was large, too large to be a raccoon or deer. At first, I thought it might be a bear, but then I saw it. A person standing just yards from the fire pit. They wore a deer skull as a mask and a black robe. My blood ran cold. I did the only thing I could think of. I turned on the truck and laid on the horn until my friends woke up. I shouted at them to get in their cars, but then more figures emerged from the trees. One by one, they appeared. Each wore a mask more grotesque than the last. They moved with an eerie calm, surrounding us as if herding prey. I threw the truck into reverse, slamming the accelerator. Figures emerged from the shadows, chasing us, hurling rocks. At one point, they were nearly at my window, but I didn't stop. I couldn't. As we escaped, I glanced in the mirror. One figure remained, peeking from behind a tree, its hollow eyes staring. That image is seared into my mind. It's been over a year since that night, but I'll never forget it. Yellowstone's beauty hides its dangers well. If you venture into the wild, always be prepared. And remember, not all predators walk on four legs. Stay safe out there and keep your nightmares close. Deep in the desolate red rock canyons of southern Utah lies a place shrouded in mystery and ancient secrets. A family's peaceful camping trip turns into a terrifying encounter with the unseen forces of the past. Ancient ruins that appear and vanish, eerie eyes watching in the dark, and a brush with death under a cursed tree. This is a tale that will make you question what truly lingers in forgotten places. Welcome to Nightmare Man, where the past never truly rests. Southern Utah, a land of ancient echoes and haunting beauty. Deep within Cane Gulch, where the remnants of the Anasazi people linger like whispers in the sandstone, lies a story of terror. It was a late summer weekend, and a young family set out for adventure. The father had won a coveted permit to camp deep in Cane Gulch. For the parents, it was another chance to revel in nature's beauty. For their son, it was the start of an unforgettable nightmare. The canyon was rich with history, every step of their journey bringing them closer to the lives of the ancient Anasazi. But history, as they would soon learn, is not always content to stay buried. When they reached the first campsite, the boy felt an unshakable pull. "Here," he begged, "we have to stay here." But his parents dismissed his pleas, choosing a shaded spot further down the trail beneath a towering cottonwood tree. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a strange unease settled over the campsite. The boy felt eyes on him, an invisible gaze that shifted and prowled. His parents felt it too, but dismissed it as the wild's natural eeriness. Then they saw it. An unmarked ruin, not listed on any map. It loomed over their campsite, a silent sentinel. The family chose not to investigate, unaware of what lay watching them. As they drifted into uneasy sleep, the ancient tree began to groan. Its mighty branch, which had weathered centuries, suddenly splintered and crashed to the ground, narrowly missing their heads. But the danger wasn't over. All around them, the bushes came alive, rattling with an unseen fury. Panic set in, and the family fled into the night, their headlights carving a desperate path through the darkness. When they finally stopped, they realized they had returned to the boys' chosen campsite. Here, the air was calm, the oppressive presence gone. For the first time that night, they felt safe. At dawn, they returned to retrieve their belongings, but the ruins were gone, replaced by an unbroken expanse of stone. The watchers had vanished, leaving only questions and a warning: respect the unseen. The family left Cane Gulch forever changed. In this land of ancient echoes, not all things stay silent. Some watch, some wait, and some remind us that we are never truly alone. Imagine being alone in the mountains, surrounded by silence, when an unexplainable knock shatters the peace. Then, just as you're trying to brush it off, a blood-curdling howl echoes through the dark forest. Something not quite human. This is the true story of my terrifying week at a music camp in Arrow Bear Lake. Was it a cryptid, a spirit, or something worse? Stay tuned as I unravel the chilling events that still haunt me to this day. The summer of 2022 was supposed to be a fresh start. For a 17-year-old, freshly graduated and eager to escape a turbulent home life, Arrow Bear Lake's music camp was a sanctuary. Perched high in the California mountains, it promised a week of harmony, both musical and emotional. But what began as a peaceful retreat soon spiraled into something far more sinister. The days followed a strict rhythm: morning rehearsals, afternoon hikes, and quiet evenings under a star-speckled sky. For the boy, Arrow Bear wasn't just a camp. It was an escape from a fractured family and the isolation that plagued his life back in Long Beach. Here, he found his tribe among fellow singers, yet shadows loomed over the harmony. Midweek, as the campers were lost in their routines, the boy found himself alone in the boys' dormitory bathroom. As he sat in the stall, a sudden knock shattered the quiet. It wasn't the stall door, but the bathroom's main door. "I'll be out soon," he called. Silence answered. The air grew heavy with unease. The floorboards, old and prone to creaking under the slightest weight, remained eerily silent. No footsteps, no movement, nothing. The boy finished quickly, washed his hands and left through the back door, dismissing the incident. But the feeling of being watched lingered. Later that week, during one of the nightly campfires, the group sat sharing personal stories. The crackling fire provided a sense of warmth and safety. Then a sound sliced through the air, a guttural howl, distant yet unmistakably unnatural. The boy's blood ran cold. He'd heard coyotes before, but this was different. It wasn't animal, nor was it mechanical. It was a sound that seemed to vibrate with malice, echoing through the mountains. "Did anyone else hear that?" he asked, his voice trembling. A few nodded, their expressions mirroring his fear. The rest stayed silent, perhaps too frightened to acknowledge it. The walk back to the dorms was suffocating. Every rustle of leaves, Every snap of a twig sent shivers down the boy's spine. He fought the urge to run, fearing that whatever lurked in the darkness might take chase. His bed, though close to the back door, suddenly felt like a perilous place to be. That night, fear wrapped around him like the blanket he clung to. The back door, always left ajar, felt like an invitation to whatever prowled outside. Every creak of the ancient wood made his heart pound. He lay there, frozen, bracing for a monster to step through the door. Sleep came mercifully, pulling him into its embrace despite the terror. The rest of the week passed uneventfully, or so it seemed. The campers, including the boy, acted as if nothing had happened. The end-of-week concert brought a sense of closure. Yet the memory of that howl and the mysterious knock lingered in his mind. Back in Long Beach, the boy couldn't shake the feeling that Arrow Bear's woods held secrets. He remembered someone mentioning the area's Native American history. Could the eerie howl and the knock have been remnants of something ancient? A Wendigo? A skinwalker? Or was it merely the paranoia of an overactive imagination? The truth remains elusive, but one thing is certain: the echoes of that summer will forever haunt him. To the outside world, Arrow Bear Lake is a sanctuary, but for those who've heard the whispers of its woods, it's a place where the line between reality and nightmare blurs. What lies within the shadows of the mountains? Perhaps it's better not to know.